So we just want to introduce ourselves. So this is an image, and on the right-hand side, that is the postgraduate law careers team in terms of where we're situated. So this is the Centre for Commercial Law Studies, and in a lovely location, Lincoln's Inn Field, right in the legal hub, and we're the black door that is on the building on the right-hand side. So just to introduce ourselves, my name is Afua Kudom. I'm one of the careers consultants, and I mainly provide the one-to-one appointments as well as deliver a number of skills-based workshops. So I'm just going to hand over to my colleagues just to introduce themselves.
Hello, hope you can see me. I'm Dara Vexter, another careers consultant at Centre for Commercial Law Studies. I'm a solicitor who's practiced for 30 years. I worked at a large international law firm, and then I worked in-house as a commercial contracts and property lawyer. So I've got experience in a wide range of the sector, so I'd be happy to help you on your career path.
Hi there, I hope you can see me. My name is Daisy, and I'm the Professional Development Programs Coordinator for Laws. I organise career events for our postgraduate law students, so hopefully you guys very soon. And I also organise workshops relating to professional skills that you'll need in the workplace.
Hello, and I'm Jacqueline, the last one in our four-party group. I'm coordinating work experience and a mentoring program that is directly sort of related to all the professional questions postgraduate students studying with us may have. And I will give you a much more intro to my programs later on in our slides. Thank you for now.
Excellent. And I forgot to say that I'm also a law graduate, so I'll just add that in there as well. So CCLS is quite unique in that there's a whole team that is dedicated to supporting you throughout your time during your LLM. So what I want to do is just move on and just start thinking about what your current career priorities are. So I'm just waiting for the slide to change. So there is a poll, I think, that just popped up. So my colleague just shared the poll. So you can see on the screen that we have a question about what your legal professional experience is, whether you're looking for career opportunities, and also what your current priorities are. So if I can just ask you to complete the poll. So I'll just give you a few seconds just to fill that in. Okay, so some of you are coming with lots of years of experience. Everyone's in a different situation in relation to where they're at in their career. So some of you will have professional experience. Some of you are maybe exploring what your career opportunities are and thinking about that either in your home country or in the UK or within Europe. And then also you may have started thinking about what specific support is available to you and important to you. And then lastly, what your current priorities are and what they will be during your LLM year. So I'll just wait for a few more seconds for that to be completed, and then hopefully Petrova will be able to share the results with us for all to see. Okay, so hopefully that's enough time for the polls to have been completed. So if I can just ask for the results to be shared.
Sorry, hi. Can you discontinue with the presentation for now, and then I'm working out how to end it. We'll end it soon, and then I'll see how we can share that. Okay.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is just start exploring what your career options are. So just going to wait for the slide to change. So you've all got different motives in terms of why you want to undertake an LLM. You've all got different ideas in terms of what you want to do after your LLM. So I know for some of you, it may be an opportunity to maybe progress within the current role that you're in. For others, it may be some kind of a career change. And then some people may want to stay in the UK, whereas others may want to, if you are international, go back to your home countries and think about how you can improve your practice there. So what I want to do is just kick off by exploring just what your career options are, both in the UK and internationally. So hopefully the slide will change shortly. Okay, so a bit of a technical hitch with the slide. So what I will do is I'll just begin to talk about some of the questions that people often have in relation to undertaking an LLM. So when you think about your career opportunities, it mainly falls within two main categories when you're thinking about working in the UK and the UK legal market. So the first category is everything that is linked to having some kind of professional training and undertaking some legal training to be able to practice in the UK. So your LLM is, if you like, a good basis when it comes to the academic side of understanding the law. But when we're thinking about training and when we're thinking about practicing, there are three different elements involved. So the first part is the academic part. So you usually have to have some kind of what we call a qualifying law degree, where you've covered options that are necessary as an academic foundation before you move on to the second part, which is the vocational part. So your LLM is not a qualifying law degree, but it provides a good basis in relation to the theory and the skills and the knowledge that you would need in order to be able to practice as a solicitor or a barrister. So in many countries, I know that the term used is just lawyer, whereas in the UK it's lawyer, but it's split into solicitor and barrister. So in relation to your training, the vocational part is split into two different sections. So if you are a barrister, there's a certain path or route that you take. And if you are a solicitor, there's a slightly different training path. So we're currently in a situation of change and transition. So if you want to qualify as a solicitor, that is going to change as of next year. So they're introducing something called the Solicitor's Qualifying Examination, and that's going to come into operation in autumn 2021. So from the 1st of September, anyone that wants to qualify as a solicitor will have to go through this qualification route. And that is replacing something called the Legal Practice Course, or the LPC, which is the current way in which people train as a solicitor. Now, there will be some kind of transition period where the two of them will be running alongside each other, but ideally, everybody will, in future, train under the Solicitor's Qualifying Examination, or the SQE. If you want to be a barrister, it's a slightly different vocational pathway. So if you don't have a qualifying law degree or a UK LLB, what you would have to do is some kind of what we call conversion course. And here, this is an opportunity to gain the information and the foundation that you would have gained if you did a UK LLB, and you usually do that in a period of a year. And then once you've done the vocational part, you move on to what we call the practice part. And that is involved in working either in some kind of chambers, if you want to be a barrister, where you undertake something called a pupillage. And then if you want to be a solicitor, then you usually have to do 2 years of work experience, either with a law firm or through the changes that are going to take place, you can do them in different settings. So I'm just going to see if the slide will change so that the information can come up. Okay. So hopefully in one moment, the slide will change and we'll be able to move to that information. There we go. Okay, so this is what I was talking about at the top. So you've got permanent or long-term roles practicing as a UK qualified lawyer, and the information that I've just gone through are the 4 bullet points at the top. The other option, if you're thinking about the UK legal jobs market, is a role where it could be a long-term role, but you don't necessarily have to undertake training to be able to work in those roles. So I've given a few examples there. This isn't an exhaustive list, so there will be other options, but these are some of the most popular. So you've got a paralegal, which is effectively somebody who doesn't necessarily have to be a trained lawyer to be able to practice and have a legal role. There are some paralegal roles where you are required to have some kind of qualification or experience after qualification, but there are also many paralegal roles that don't require that. And then we've just given a few more other examples. So compliance and risk management for a business or a charity is another really popular area where you're helping the company to ensure that they know what policies and procedures they need to adhere to and trying to hopefully stop them from getting into any problems in terms of a legal nature. And then we've also got what we call in-house roles. So this is when you usually work for a business or some kind of charity or firm and you're their legal advisor, and sometimes these roles do require you to be qualified, but there are also many in-house roles where you don't necessarily need to be a UK qualified lawyer. And then I just want to give some other examples of what the job market looks like. So these are some of the other roles that a lot of LLM students typically qualify into. You're doing the LLMs that are more finance-based, maybe interested in firms that focus on accountancy or financial management in some way. They could be things like investment banks, and you could have a legal role or a non-legal role within those organizations. Tax is another very popular area. So sometimes students go on to become tax consultants or they go on to become tax advisors for different organizations. And then another one that I'll just pick out that's really popular is management consultancy. So this is when you're working with maybe one of the big 4 management consultancy firms or a smaller consultancy firm. And again, you could be doing a role that is legal or a role where your legal skills will be useful and practical for that organization. Examples of firms there. So places that some of our students have gone on to work for are places like Deloitte, EY, and then we've also got Simmons & Simmons Wavelength, which is a newish company that focuses on the delivery of legal services and legal project management. And then we've also got another example at Accenture, which is professional services. So my colleague Jacqueline is going to talk a bit more about work experience and internships, but I just want to flag that we're currently in the process of hopefully implementing new legislation which will allow you to be able to stay in the UK for up to 2 years after your course is finished. So for those of you who maybe want to stay on in the UK and find work in the UK, that will be a great opportunity for you to be here for up to 2 years, and we'll keep you advised and updated on that. The service within the university that provides more information on that is not actually the careers service, it's the advice and counselling service. And you'll get more information about how to access those services and that information when you join the university. Okay, so what I want to do is also just briefly go through some of the international opportunities. So as well as law firms, consultancy firms, or professional services, some of you may be more interested in international work. So I've just given some examples of organizations that some of our students go on to join or are interested in working for. So you've got international governmental organizations, and one that's really popular, places like the World Bank. Some of you may be aware of the OECD, working for organizations like that. Or if you're interested in finance, something like the International Finance Corporation. And this is great for those who maybe have more of an international background and are interested in doing legal work that cuts across different jurisdictions. Another thing to be aware of is that a lot of the consultancy firms, the law firms that are in the UK do have an international presence. So some of you may not want to work in the UK or Europe, but may be more interested in working with these firms in some of their international locations. And then I've just given some examples in terms of non-governmental organisations that some of our students are also interested in. So it could be the World Health Organization for those who are maybe doing medical law, or charities such as Amnesty International or Oxfam, looking at some of the legal work that they do. And then another area that some people are interested in is international tribunals. So you've got the very senior ones like the International Criminal Courts, but there are some that are maybe more regional that some of you will be interested in working for. And some of the things to bear in mind is what they really appreciate and look for in potential employees. So if you have an international background, in that you've got some experience, maybe some qualifications, your academic background is in another jurisdiction, that is something that is really valued if you are interested in international work. Language skills, so a lot of our students, we're very international, we're very cosmopolitan, and a lot of our students speak 2, 3, maybe even 4 languages. So if you have any language skills, they are definitely useful if you're interested in the international sphere. And then lastly, one of the things that your LLM gives you is a great theoretical and I suppose the legal foundation in terms of the knowledge, but also you develop a number of skills that are really important that can be put into practice. So that whole idea of combining your specialist knowledge with the skills and competencies that you develop during your course or that you build upon in terms of the skills that you already had are also very valuable. Okay, so when we think about careers activity, you can split it into 3 different categories. So the first category is around exploring what your options are. So I've given you a very high level summary of what some of those options are. And we work with you either on a one-to-one basis or in small groups to just really think about what your career options are. And my colleagues will talk a bit more about some of the events that we have that helps you to explore what those options are and hear more about things that graduates go on to qualify into. And then the second area is about acquiring the skills that will help you to be attractive to and potential employers. So thinking about the skills and competencies that are valued in different roles, and what we do is help you to think about how to articulate them, but also how to develop them during your time on your LLM course. And then the last area I've categorized as SEL, and this is very much around articulating what your skills are and what your experiences and competencies are to employers to help you within the application process. So whether that's right in the early stages in relation to completing online applications or writing CVs and cover letters, right up to preparing for things like assessment centres and interviews. So we provide a number of skills workshops to help you with all of these different areas. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to my colleague Dara, who's going to talk about the importance of starting as soon as possible.
Right. Oh, my screen is rather small, but I hope you can see me. I hope you can also hear me. Thank you very much, Afa, for going through those stages as to how you become a professional and what areas you can work in. So when you hopefully start and join us in September, we like to think there are various stages we can help you through. It can be quite overwhelming because obviously you're in a new country and there's a lot of things you can think about. But what we want to try and do at the beginning, in the sort of pre-enrollment stage, is help you by asking you to attend our induction sessions that we Careers will give you, which will show you how to access our careers services. We suggest you maybe think about, before you actually arrive, researching a bit of the job market, thinking about what sort of areas of law or places you'd like to practice in, so that when you arrive in September, you've got some idea already about the market in the UK and about how you can access the career support. So you arrive You have lots of things to do, get your program sorted, meet your academics. And in the period October to December, this is a key period where you start to work out what sort of firms do I want to apply for, and how can I go about applying for those firms. And this is an ideal time to attend our workshops, which we have a number of them in the first term. I'll go into a bit more detail about them later. But there are workshops on CV and cover letters, so you can start to prepare your own CV, your own cover letter ready, so that when you see an application opportunity, you're in a good place to start applying. There are a number of resources up there. We mentioned 2 websites that are particularly important for law students, so lawcareers.net and Chamber Students. And on those websites, which you can start looking at now, and I recommend you do, there is a wealth of information on training vacancies, how law firms deal with training contracts, practice areas, specialist firms. So you can just really immerse yourself in the UK legal market to start to think about what you'd like to do next. And also, you can see some of the firms that you're interested in, go onto their websites and look about how their application process works. So you can start to see a lot of them now do similar processes, which are quite involved. In first, you have a sort of written application, then you might have an interview or an assessment centre. So you need to be familiar with how these firms recruit their lawyers. Okay, thank you, Alpha. Next slide. Right, so hopefully the next slide is coming up shortly, but while it is coming up, I'll just tell you a bit more about what you can be doing in these early stages. So you also can start thinking about building your LinkedIn profile. We also provide workshops on helping you to perfect that, but you can certainly start off doing that. And you can start off also thinking about attending law fairs. We have one in the autumn. When it'll be virtual this year, but we have a lot of firms, top firms that come along, and there'll be opportunities for you to engage with those firms and speak to them. So I don't know if you're having a problem with the slides, but I'll just continue to go through the year. So the first term is very much a term for getting yourself familiar with the UK market, how you can get your CV ready, attending workshops and booking appointments and coming to see us. And we're very happy to go through any ideas you have, even if you haven't really, don't really know which direction to go in. It's just an opportunity for 25 minutes to sit with us and plan out where you could apply. Thank you, Alpha. So then when you get to January, and it's a bit more targeting detailed applications, there are different deadlines for different firms. So you just have to be aware of these different deadlines. But you can start to fill in the online applications. You can book an appointment with us to go through the application. And you need to be perfecting your skills as to how to perform at an interview and how to write these applications. So in the period January to July, we're very much there to support you in all these activities. And so as soon as you identify an opportunity, you can come to see us and we can work through the application form with you. And then we can hopefully offer you a practice interview to help you succeed. Okay, thank you. And next slide. And then once you get through July, you get to the August period where you'll be doing your dissertation. And then you maybe want to think about widening your search, possibly looking for some work experience opportunities that my colleague Jack will be telling you come up all the time throughout the year. And then it's a key time to build your network. So you hopefully by this time, August, have a really good LinkedIn profile, and you'll be able to use the Queen Mary Alumni Network, which is incredibly important because we have 180,000 graduates on the network over 106 countries. So there's a huge number of people out there who will have been through the Queen Mary's Master's programs and will be working in very prestigious places. And they're often very keen to connect with younger students and help them on their career path. What is great is that you can use our career service for 2 years after graduation. So that means you can still book one-to-one appointments and come and see us. You can join events, you can access the resources on the web pages. So it's not a case of at the end of the year, that's it. We're very much here to support you on an ongoing basis. And I've seen a number of students who have changed path or they've decided on a different opportunity coming to see us. So that's a great resource for you. Okay, so next slide, thank you. As aforementioned, there are actually two campuses. The main campus for the postgraduate lawyers is the wonderful Lincoln's Inn campus, which you have a picture of. This is very special because Lincoln's Inn Fields is next to Lincoln's Inn, one of the 4 Inns of Court. And the Inns of Court are where the barristers practice, and they're very historic buildings, and there have been some of them in the 16th century. So this campus of Lincoln's Inn is right in the heart of legal London. You're just round the corner from the High Court. You can pop in there to sit in some cases, which often I advise students to do, so they get a real experience of how the legal system works in this country. So that's wonderful being at Lincoln's Inn. You also can access the General Careers Service in Mile End. Depending, you might be staying on campus in the Mile End campus in the accommodation, and that centre has a lot of information resources that you can pick up. But on the screen there, you'll see the booking telephone line and the email, and you can actually book online appointments. So there's a number of ways you can book appointments, but it's very straightforward. Okay, so let me tell you what exciting things we can help you with in our PG Law Careers programme. We have a great team, there's 4 of us here, dedicated to helping support postgraduates, and we work from Lincoln's Inn Fields, so we are on site once the world has returned to normal. So the first thing I'd like to say is we offer these one-to-one appointments with Afua or myself, and this is an opportunity for you to come along either with a draft CV or with no CV, just not really sure which way to go, and discuss with us. And between Afua and I, we have a lot of experience of the legal sector, and we can help you navigate your career path. So it's just an opportunity to feel that you can talk to someone about this. As I mentioned earlier, I've been in the profession a long time, so I know a lot of firms and a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of cases, so anything in my background that I can help you with, I'm obviously happy to do so. Then we have the practice interviews, which are an hour long. So I have given quite a few recently with students. And then you come along and I can ask you questions. It's like a coaching session, so we can really go over the areas where you feel you're not quite sure or how to address things. And by the end of the interview, a lot of the students have said they felt much more confident about the interviews. And the last 2 practice interviews I did help students with, they both got their positions, so that was wonderful news. We have a number of practical skills workshops. As Afua mentioned, it's very important to demonstrate that you've got these skills when you're applying for these law firms. So what we help you to do is identify the skills that you need, and then help you think about your experience to date as to when you would have had examples to demonstrate you have those skills. So for example, for law firms, often they expect you to be legally brilliant, but they want to know that you can work with other people, so have team working skills, and they want to know that you've got commercial awareness, so you know what's going on in the sector. Now with the team working skills, you may not have worked in a law firm yet, but you may have worked in another organisation or done some voluntary work at the university. In all those occupations and activities, you will have developed skills that we can help you present in the most positive way. We have employer engagement events, which Daisy will talk about shortly, and we have a lot of the top Magic Circle firms coming to speak to us to help and tell students about what they do. We have mentoring opportunities that Jack will talk to you about shortly. This is a wonderful program. So many students have found it hugely beneficial. Work experience opportunities, and then there's a number of additional resources which I can go through, like a guide, newsletters. Okay, so that's an overview of what we as a dedicated careers team at Lincoln's Inn can offer you. So a little bit more detail about the one-to-one appointments. For the first sort of few weeks of term, there'll be Skype sessions, 25 minutes, which is quite a decent length of time. And as I said, that'll be all about career choices, reviewing applications and CVs. And then the practice interviews. And one of the students who recently got a job at an investment bank as a senior general counsel, he put on there that he felt the mock interview preparation service offered was instrumental in getting a feel of how the interview will be on the actual day. So it was quite nice to feel that he benefited from just having that opportunity to be with one of us to go through things he wasn't quite sure about. So that was a great result for him. Okay. So the practical skills workshops that I mentioned, we offer a huge range of them. These are just some examples. We try to follow through the application process. So at the beginning of your term, it's very much about the CV and the cover letter. And then you move on to actually applying for firms, in which case we can help you writing that best application you possibly can. And then hopefully when you go to the interview stage, how to present yourself at the best light at interview. As I mentioned, we do have a law fair, and we give you some tips about how to talk to people at the fair with your networking, develop your networking skills, and there again, how to help you make a really good LinkedIn profile. A lot of students find when they contact people through LinkedIn who may be alumni of Queen Mary, they get a result and they can meet them for a chat to find out how they navigated their career path. So that's just an example of some of the workshops we do, but it's pretty much weekly, 2 workshops a week that AFWA and I deliver. Okay. Right, so I'd now like to hand you over to my colleague Daisy, who's going to tell you some more about the employer engagement events.
Hello. Okay, good. I look like I'm live. So on top of the one-to-one career support and the practical skills workshops that Dara has just spoken about, you'll have a number of opportunities to engage with employers and alumni through the postgraduate law career events program. So our central career events team runs the law fair, which will give you access to a really large number of law firms, chambers, and student law societies. And then throughout the year, our team at CCLS runs lunchtime employer presentations. These employer presentations cover topics such as online applications and how to ace interviews, and these will give you a chance to hear top tips straight from employers. We've already got some really big firms lined up to speak this year, including Hogan Lovells and Linklaters. On top of the employer presentation sessions, we host a series of evening panel events with QMUL alumni. Previous topics for these have included in-house law, compliance and regulation. These sessions have received really great feedback and allow you to hear from and to talk to people who've recently been in your shoes. QMUL Law alumni have gone on to do some amazing things, as I think Jack is about to talk about. And this is your opportunity really to hear from them and to get some inspiration and advice and to see where the LLM can take you. And I'll hand over to Jack.
Hello. Yes, I would like to just give you a brief overview of another way to engage with and get to know our employers, and this is via our mentoring opportunities. So at CCLS, I'm running a program, one of 2 programs. The first one is the mentoring program for our postgraduate law students, and this connects you with practitioners from a wide spectrum of our legal market. So it's called the Postgraduate Law Mentoring Program, and is an opportunity for every student that is on the program, is a current LLM and MSc law student and applies to get an outside perspective on their current careers planning. So just to say it again, the law program is available to everyone, the mentoring program, but students have to apply to become participants of the program. That means not every student who applies can become part of the mentoring program, because we have usually many students applying for a particular set of mentors. We have about 80 to 100 mentors on board every year. So it is, for all the students that will be on the program, an experiential learning experience. You gain a very great perspective on, outside perspective on your own career and how you can bring it forward, because a mentor will guide you through their own example and will help you with thinking about your career and how to look at your own development from various different angles. Whether you are studying with us in September or in January 2021, so for both of the new cohorts, the program will be a blended learning experience. So one part of the program will be an online group mentoring part, and the second part will be the one-to-one mentoring with a dedicated mentor. on this program, I create for every student that applies and get a place, a relationship between you and a mid to senior level legal professional across the board of the legal market. And when you are paired up with a mentor, your interactions happen face-to-face. That can be in person once we are back to normal, or hopefully the way you will be interacting with each other is something that you will work out with each other. Face-to-face, email, phone, online meetings, it's up to you. At present, we have about 40% of our mentors are CCLS alumni, and many of them are with us since the beginning of the program, providing meaningful support to our graduating lawyers and give invaluable valuable insight into our UK and international job markets. We understand that for some of you this thought might be a little bit intimidating, but I promise you an interaction with a mentor, a legal professional that is there for you to guide you, will give you a chance to build, to practice building your own confidence all around the legal job market. And when you're on this program, your mentor can be one of the most valuable contacts during your studies. In case any of you are wondering, through our mentoring program, we have employer contacts and mentoring contacts that many coming from various different jurisdictions all around the world. So many of our mentors were international students to begin with as well, and have a great knowledge about the UK and the international job market. Therefore, loads of them are also active on our QM alumni network, as Dara already mentioned. So our alumni engage with our students through our networks in UK and international destinations, and while working in international organizations. So if any student that is part of the mentoring program is interested in international organizations, a mentor might be a valuable source to help you with this as well. Afua, would you be able to give me the next slide? I have one example here of one of our past mentee experiences. 2 years ago, a student gave us a really wonderful testimonial about how she met her mentor. When she met him in the first place, her mentor was always extremely interested in her background and also in testing and talking through her future career goals. So if you have a discussion with your mentor, it will happen over a longer period of time, over a few months, and every single discussion can be a very practical advice session from the mentor to you that will inform your thoughts, your career plans throughout the entire time whilst you're studying with us. So in fact, a mentor can actually guide you through a big part of your academic studies and give you hands-on practical advice next to it. Afua, can I have the next slide, please? Apart from mentoring opportunities, I also run work experience opportunities. That is a less fixed program, but so from the point of view of a PG law student, this program will help you better understand the job market and how to find work opportunities that suit you within the job market. So it can be the place for you to best or better explore UK and global work practices. Practices of law that interest you, because maybe you have not only a point of view to become a solicitor, but also interest in various other ways of within the legal field. It can give you a better insight into cross-cultural differences and how to actually position and work better in an international organization in huge companies where many different cultures might work together on legal cases. Work experience, in our point of view, is very important for each and every student, as it gives you a competitive advantage on the market, enhances your CV, and it may make you more confident in building useful contacts for your own professional networks and future. We are very aware that the current COVID-19 crisis affects everyone's work globally across the globe. So here at CCLS, we will put extra focus on the development of micro and virtual internships in future. We will use our networks and platforms with a wide access to webinars, online forums, and professional supervision to make virtual or the access to virtual internships easier for you. So in addition to offering a set of exclusive internships organized for our QMUL PG Law students, we will also advertise in our regular newsletter other opportunities within London, the UK, and hopefully also the international field of work. We can guide you through the most helpful career websites and find with you internships with firms and organizations, project and research work, remote and part-time work that you can fit around your studies to accommodate your academic studies. We cannot get a job for you, but we will do our best to help you achieve your aims. And how we can do that is obviously offering you all our careers services that Dara, Afua and Daisy already talked about. And that will give you an insight into our legal practice and what it is like to work in the UK and abroad within the field whilst you're studying on your LLM. And we can give you more insights into recruitment processes and how they differ from practices in other jurisdictions. Our work experience can also help you understand how law firms in the UK operate and understand the importance of working with clients, how to gain exposure in particular firms, and how to network within the legal market. And if you're looking for a career in the UK, but UK branches of international companies, we will be able to help you advise on opportunities within those organizations. So the work experience program that I'm running is partly advice and partly offering you internship and work experience opportunities organized by us. I have a few examples in our next slide, Afua. So past work experience examples. There are two. We have students on our energy law internship program that we every year we offer internships and work experience of various length to our students. And for instance, a 3-month energy internship abroad at the Energy Charter Secretariat in Brussels. One of our students last year gave us a fantastic testimonial. She enjoyed herself, had made really good contacts, and the job prospect after embarking on this internship with us made her get a job in the field that she was looking for with the experience that she gained via this internship at Energy Charter. And also it helped her with writing her thesis, which is obviously an add-on. We also have paralegal opportunities every year in London. Part of our students that would want to gain either general work experience or legal experience, but within a business setting, can do that via opportunities advertised by us as well. Plus, again, I will advertise and signpost students to opportunities that I come across regularly in the work experience newsletters that cover all kinds of specialisms, anything from general to specialisms. We find our partners, the working partners, posting interesting opportunities in. And so this is it for me for now, and I pass back on to Dara or Afua taking over the next bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. That was great to go through all the interesting opportunities that you have for the students. Just a couple more things to mention to you. I think Jack has mentioned she does a newsletter on work experience. We also, Afua and I, do a weekly newsletter giving you details of workshops and events that are coming up for that very week. Sometimes we get firms asking, sending invitations to lawyers to various events, open days. So anything that we think is of interest to students, you will get a weekly newsletter emailed to you and a reminder of the workshops that are being delivered that week. We have a very full and thorough PG Law Careers Guide, which has a lot of the information in there that you would need. We even have templates in there on CVs and cover letters. So it's just a good basic resource that you can always refer to throughout your year. And there is a dedicated PG Law Careers page on our platform QM Plus, which will have all the workshops we delivered in the past, information of the workshops to be delivered. What we tend to do is upload our slides on there, so if you can't make a workshop, you can still see it. We have the guide on there, and we have all sorts of information that will be useful to you. So it's something you will be checking pretty regularly to make sure you're up to date and make the most of everything that we've got. So just really to give a bit of a summary, you've had a lot of information given to you. We want to really just say to you, we are here for you. We very much enjoy working with a really lovely bunch of students who are all very bright and committed. And we want to make sure that you achieve the most you can achieve in your time with us. So the benefits of, we think, studying with us at CCLS are access to us, Afua and I, specialist knowledge of the legal sector and sort of one-to-one attention when you need it most. A specific program of events and workshops. So as Daisy mentioned, we have a lot of Magic Circle firms who come along, a lot of alumni panels, and a lot of workshops that deliver regularly to help you hone your skills and succeed at these applications. We have the fantastic mentoring scheme that Jack mentioned that's incredibly popular, and the students just really appreciate the opportunity to meet people who are at the top of their professional game and have that ability to find out how they worked, how they got there. So alongside their academic studies, to be able to engage with these professionals is really amazing. You have a huge network out there for you. So once you become a Queen Mary alumni, you can then link up with, I think I said 106 countries, it's 160 countries, even more. And a lot of the alumni meet in chapters in their particular country to host events so that you can take part in those. So once you're part of the Queen Mary family, you stay in that family and you make the most of all the contacts and connections that you will get. And then one last thing that we mentioned is there is an opportunity to do legal work experience through a fantastic program called Q Legal, where students can advise entrepreneur companies, tech startups, under the supervision of a qualified lawyer, but they get the opportunity to actually try to advise the client directly. So that real importance of learning client skills, drafting, negotiation. So the students who've been through this program have found it incredibly rewarding. So that's just another example of something that's special at Queen Mary. So I will hand you over now to Afua to talk about next steps.
Excellent, thank you, Dara and team. So what I wanted to do is just to end with 3 things that I think will be good things for you to do between now and starting your LLM course, whether that's starting in September or starting next year in January. So if you haven't already done so, I think it's really important to just start thinking about what your specific individual career priorities are during your LLM year. As I said, they will be different because everyone's coming from different backgrounds. You've got different levels of experience, and you'll want to get something different out of the year and what you want to go on to afterwards. So do spend some time thinking about what your priorities are and what you want to achieve career-wise after the LLM. Some websites have already been mentioned, so I just want to encourage again and reiterate the importance of using these websites just to find out more information about the legal sector and what the legal sector job market looks like, as well as thinking about wider opportunities when it comes to what graduates go on to do. So you've got 4 websites there: lawcareers.net, which has already been mentioned, chamberstudent.co.uk, and then 2 others I would add to that are prospects.ac.uk and Target Jobs. And what's really good with those final 2 websites is that they're very comprehensive in terms of the range of information it covers. They advertise things like internships, graduate roles. They give careers advice on different industries and sectors. So do really invest some time looking into those things even before you start your course. So what we want to do is just move on to the last section, which is the questions, and hopefully be able to answer them as much as possible. So I think we've got a number of questions that have been put into the Q&A box, and I think Daisy is going to address some of those or bring some of those up now.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of questions coming in. I've done my best to answer them as we go, but there are some that have come up multiple times, so I thought it would be good if we could talk about them now. One of them is about the changes in the LPC and the SQE. A lot of people are asking about that. Afua, would people have a chance to hear more about that if they joined the LLM?
Yep, absolutely. So we have an event planned. I think it's the beginning or middle of September, because there are lots of changes, and this is an area that a lot of people have lots of questions about. We have a specific workshop that is going to focus on training pathways. So do not despair. There are websites you can look into at the moment, but we're going to have a comprehensive workshop where we cover what it takes and what steps need to be put in place in order to qualify either as a barrister or as a solicitor.
Super. I'm going to have a look for another one now that's I think will be applicable to lots of people. Let's have a look. Okay, people have asked, is the GDL a prerequisite for an international student to become a qualified lawyer in the UK?
So the GDL is something called the Graduate Diploma in Law, and the students who have to do that course are those who are interested in becoming a barrister or practicing as a barrister in the UK. So it is something that currently exists. Under the new training pathway for solicitors, you will no longer have to undertake that course, but you will still have to do it if you want to become a barrister. So it will be compulsory if you do not have a UK LLB or something called a qualifying law degree. And that's only for the barrister route.
Super, thanks, Afua. Jack, I think this one is probably best placed to you. We've had a couple of people asking, obviously there have been internships and opportunities that have happened in previous years, such as with the immigration law, LLM. People have asked, are they going to be available for January entry?
Oops. So the immigration law program has a set of internships as part of an internship module. This is what I'm referring to in my answer at the moment, because I hope this is what the questions refer to. The internship module from the immigration program is going ahead, and internships would usually start in January. So maybe there will be some altering on start dates and the way those internships are led. but they are definitely going ahead. And this is all to be confirmed yet. So the timelines, the time frame of those internships, they're still to be confirmed. But as far as I know at the moment, this module is obviously, it's in place, and it will then also go ahead with internships on the immigration law program. Yeah, thank you.
Super. Okay, someone else has asked, after I finish my LLM, can I become an assistant lecturer? Is that something that we could help with if someone joined the LLM program?
I just wrote, sorry, it's me again, Jacqueline. So I just wrote an answer to this question. So it entirely depends on the opportunities available at the time of finishing the LLM. At CSER, so at the moment, this is something, if opportunities are out there, and one doesn't need to have a professional qualification, for instance, to become an assistant, a teacher's assistant at even at QMUL, we do have teacher's assistants directly applying to those opportunities when finishing their LLMs. We do not know at the moment about relevant opportunities out there at the time of finishing next year, but I do, assuming it is going to be like past years, there are definitely opportunities out there.
Awesome, thanks, Jack. Okay, we had a question about the becoming a barrister, basically. So can the university assist and guide students in filling in the Bar Standards Board form?
So and maybe Dara, if you want to jump in afterwards, one of the things that we do is we provide information in terms of the process for applying for various different things, whether that's a training contract if you want to be a solicitor, or for a pupillage if you want to be a barrister. So what is probably best in that situation is to book a one-to-one appointment. We do support students with specific applications, so probably a one-to-one appointment where you discuss it and we go through the questions is the best way to approach it. And I don't know if Dara wants to add anything to that.
Hi, thank you, Afa. Yes, I mean, the thing is, often the student will have a first go of drafting the answer and then bring it to us so we can go through the application, or there may be certain parts of the application process that are really difficult questions where you have to draft 250 words. How do I demonstrate this? And then we can discuss it in the one-to-one and help you perfect the draft. So as Afua said, the important thing is to book the appointment with us, bring the form, whatever stage it's in, and then we can help you go through it to get it in a perfect form. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we have an anonymous question asking, will these career services such as appointments and careers advice be available to students doing an LLM online?
Absolutely. So whether you're able to join us in person or whether you're joining us online, you'll have access to the same services and the same workshops. So even if some of them are delivered face-to-face, there will also be other opportunities where you can participate and join in online.
And so just want to add to that, Daisy, if I may. As Afua said, all the workshops will be virtual, and the practice interviews that we're conducting, and the hour interviews, they are on Skype as well. So basically everything we do, we're still there for all the students, virtually or in person. So you still get access to us. Okay.
Super. Now there's a question that I can answer, but Afua, would you mind looking in the Q&A to see if there's a follow-up once I'm done with this one?
Yep.
So someone has asked, another anonymous question. Does the QMUL Law School offer any extracurricular modules or workshops on negotiation and client interviewing skills? That's a super interesting question, and the short answer is yes, but this is offered through the Q Legal program. So I think that Dara mentioned it earlier. Q Legal is a fantastic program that's separate. It's an additional extracurricular element to the degree that you need to apply for when you join the LLM. But if you do get onto the Q Legal program, you would have tons and tons of opportunities to do workshops and get experience with negotiation, client interviewing skills, and a whole range of other skills as well. So I definitely recommend looking into that and looking on the website for Q Legal to see the other kind of things on offer.
Great, thanks. I couldn't see a follow-up question, so I'm assuming that you have answered that. So thank you, Daisy. Okay, so any final questions, Daisy, before we wrap up?
I think that the rest of the questions in the inbox are probably best answered on an individual basis. Some really specific things about whether the learning is going to be face-to-face or blended from January, which all the information for that is available on our website in the Q&A section.
Excellent. And I know some of you may have questions that are quite specific or unique to your individual situation, and these are the questions that will be great for things like one-to-one appointments when you do join us. Okay, so just to end, to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been great to have you here, and hopefully the information was useful and you've had some of your questions answered. So we look forward to hopefully meeting some of you in due course, either in the next few months or a little bit later, early next year, if you join the course in January. So we wish you all the best in the coming months as you prepare to hopefully join us sometime soon. And we look forward to working with you in more depth and on a more permanent basis during your LLM.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Can I just make one more announcement just before we go? If any students are thinking about moving on to the January programme, just to let you know, you should have received an invitation. We have a special webinar that is happening tomorrow for students that are interested in January. So even if you already have an offer for September and you want to move over to January and there are unanswered questions or things you're still thinking about, then please look through your emails. You should have received an invitation from our international recruitment department, and that would have gone to all offer holders. Okay, so otherwise I just want to say thank you and goodbye. We will be ending the session. Thank you very much, everyone.